What if the path to changing the world wasn't a straight line, but a sprawling network of interconnected ideas, each one a daring attempt to fix a broken system? What if one person's journey could ripple outwards, touching everything from national security to the very classrooms where future leaders are made? This is the story of a builder, a thinker, and a relentless innovator whose curiosity didn't just lead him to one success, but to an entire ecosystem of change. This is the story of Joe Lonsdale. Our journey begins not in a boardroom, but on the sun-drenched campus of Stanford University. Born and raised in Fremont, California, a young Joe Lonsdale arrived at Stanford, where he would pursue a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, graduating in 2004, but his education wasn't confined to coding and algorithms. He took on the role of editor-in-chief for the Stanford Review, a student newspaper known for its liberal and politically charged perspective. This wasn't just a student job, it was a crucible. It was here, in the midst of late-night debates and editorial deadlines, that the foundations of his worldview were forged. He was sharpening his mind, honing his programming skills, and cultivating the distinct personal views that would later define his audacious path as an entrepreneur and investor. The seeds of a builder were being planted, watered by a potent mix of technological prowess and a deep-seated desire to question and reshape the status quo. After graduation, the world of Silicon Valley beckoned. Lonsdale's first steps were formative, an apprenticeship in the halls of giants. He started with an internship at PayPal, a company that was already a legendary breeding ground for future tech titans. This experience brought him into the orbit of his mentor, the iconic Peter Thiel. He soon joined Thiel's global macro fund, Clarium Capital, as an early executive. It was here, under Thiel's tutelage, that Lonsdale learned to see the world not just in lines of code, but in grand sweeping patterns of economics, politics, and power. This mentorship would prove to be the launchpad for his first and perhaps most impactful venture. In 2004, a powerful idea took hold. Alongside Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Stephen Cohen, and Nathan Gettings, Lonsdale co-founded Palantir Technologies. The mission was audacious: to build a company that could sift through mountains of big data, mining for insights that could solve the world's most complex problems. With early investment from the CIA's venture capital arm, In-Q-Tel, Palantir developed software that was quickly adopted by security, defense, financial, and medical agencies. Its tools were designed to find the needles in impossibly large haystacks, connecting disparate pieces of information to reveal hidden threats and opportunities. Palantir's ascent was nothing short of meteoric. The company grew at a blistering pace, and by 2010, it had achieved the coveted unicorn status, a valuation of over $1 billion. This was a testament to the power of their technology and the critical need for sophisticated data analytics in a post-9/11 world. By the time Palantir went public in 2020, it was a household name in the intelligence and tech communities. Although Lonsdale transitioned from his permanent role at Palantir in 2009, he remained a key advisor and retained his shares. More importantly, Palantir had given him two invaluable assets: the financial resources to dream bigger, and a reputation as a founder who could tackle monumental challenges. He was no longer just an executive. He was a serial entrepreneur, ready to build again. With the success of Palantir as his foundation, Lonsdale didn't rest. Instead, he saw a world reeling from the 2008 financial crisis and identified new systems ripe for disruption. In 2009, he turned his attention to the opaque world of finance, co-founding Adipar. The company's goal was to create a technology platform for asset management that could bring unprecedented transparency to a system that had failed so many. Adipar was designed to help family offices, wealth advisors, and banks manage complex global portfolios with clarity and precision, an antidote to the confusion that had fueled the crash. His ambition didn't stop at finance. Lonsdale looked at a cornerstone of American life: local government, and saw inefficiency. In 2012, he co-founded OpenGov, a software company with a mission to bring government operations into the digital age. The platform helps municipalities and state agencies manage budgets, process licenses, and deliver public services more effectively. The vision was to empower public servants with the same kinds of powerful, data-driven tools that were revolutionizing the private sector. As he was building companies, he was also building a new vehicle for a new generation of builders. In 2011, he co-founded the venture capital fund Formation 8. The fund was known for its global perspective, bridging the tech ecosystems of Asia and the United States, and it quickly became a prominent player in Silicon Valley. After Formation 8 dissolved in 2015 due to what was described as differences in investment style among its founders, Lonsdale, undeterred, immediately launched a new fund, 8VC. This new entity thrived, growing to manage billions of dollars now, approximately $6 billion. Through 8VC, Lonsdale refined his identity as a high-caliber venture capitalist, a serial investor who actively seeks out and champions startups, tackling the biggest, most fundamental, and most complex systemic problems in fields as diverse as software infrastructure, biomedicine, logistics, and AI. For many, this level of success would be a career's capstone. For Joe Lonsdale, it was merely the next layer of the foundation. His vision began to expand beyond the boardroom, reaching into the very fabric of society, public policy, education, and philanthropy. He saw that building great companies wasn't enough. He also had to shape the environment in which they operate. In 2018, alongside his wife, he founded the Cicero Institute, a nonpartisan think tank. Cicero's mission is to advance policy for citizens, championing transparent, market-based solutions for some of society's most intractable issues, including healthcare, housing, and criminal justice reform. 3 years later, in 2021, he took on another established institution, higher education. He's concerned by what he saw as a decline in intellectual diversity and a move away from open inquiry on university campuses. He co-founded the University of Austin, UATX. This new private university was established with the explicit goal of restoring the spirit of truth-seeking, creating a haven for academic freedom and fearless debate. His political leanings, often described as libertarian or conservative, were a clear through line from his early days at the Stanford Review. He consistently advocated for individual liberty, reduced regulation, and the power of free markets. For Lonsdale, investment, enterprise, policy, and education were not separate pursuits. They were all integrated tools, each designed to solve systemic problems and build a better, more functional society. Joe Lonsdale's career is a masterclass in relentless building. He is the quintessential serial entrepreneur and investor. He didn't just found one important company. He co-founded a series of them, each a pillar in its respective industry: Palantir, Adipar, OpenGov. Through his fund 8VC, he has become a kingmaker in the startup world, influencing how a new generation of founders approach problem solving. He champions those who think big, who aim to build foundational platforms rather than just single-use tools, and who are not afraid to tackle the gnarliest systemic challenges in technology, biomedicine, AI, and logistics. Beyond the world of business, his influence is now being felt in the corridors of power and the halls of academia through the Cicero Institute and the University of Austin. This demonstrates a long-term vision that transcends profit, aiming to fundamentally reshape how our society is organized, governed, and educated. Of course, such a high-profile and ambitious journey is never without its complexities and controversies. The path has not always been smooth. The dissolution of his first venture fund, Formation 8, in 2015, born from disagreements among its founders, was a significant public setback. Furthermore, the very nature of his work involving national security, personal data, public policy, and the privatization of government services has inevitably placed him at the center of heated debates. His decisions, his outspoken views, and his investments have often sparked controversy, raising difficult questions about ethics, privacy, and the delicate balance between the role of the state and the power of the private sector. In the end, Joe Lonsdale stands as a powerful testament to the modern builder. He is a figure who refuses to be confined to a single success or a single industry. His career is a continuous cycle of creation, founding companies, launching investment funds, and expanding his influence into the complex worlds of policy and education. He is not simply driven by the search for profit, but by an insatiable hunger to identify and solve systemic problems from every conceivable angle. His story is not just about building businesses. It's about building a legacy, piece by piece, system by system, in a constant, unwavering effort to innovate, expand, and reshape the world around him.